Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the NBA. So y'all check this out. Well, congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks. They're in the NBA Finals too now. We're at 4-2 versus Atlanta Braves. Atlanta, had to deal with the injuries too. Both teams had their main player out with Trae Young and Antetokounmpo, both out of the game. But at the end of the day, Game 6 in Atlanta, Milwaukee took it home, beat them by about a good close to 20 points, and it was basically, over. I forget what the final score was, but they had a lead the whole time. Towards the end, it got Reddish brought Atlanta back by playing pretty good, but the lead was never in doubt. Matter of fact, the lead didn't even change hands throughout the game. Trae Young was hobbled, of course, but at least he tried it, and that's the best thing he could do. But the guns for Milwaukee played well. Drew Holiday almost had a triple double, around 25 points. I think that your boy Middleton had 32 points, 23 in the third quarter, which showed what he's about. But having said all that, I don't think the Budenholzer is doing a great job. It's hard to say when a coach is going to the finals, isn't it? Has a good record in closeout games, is it? But at the end of the day, I still think the Bucks are playing wrong by not feeding Brook Lopez on a low block. He gets some shots because he did good in Game 5, but we still forget him. We'd rather have contested shots from Holiday and contested shots from Middleton instead of giving the ball down to him, to Brook Lopez, who's going to either finish or get fouled or both, and he's going to make his free throws. Someone that was score, I think Brook Lopez is the second best scorer on the team behind Middleton, right? He can score in every type of way. Now he's even moved it from, this guy played 9 years in Brooklyn and was only on a low block scoring. Now he has all the moves on a low block, plus he can finish with either hand, right? He got enough hops to dunk on you if necessary. And now, because the league has changed to three-point shooting, he was able to do that. How much offense this guy is going to show you, and you're going to keep ignoring it? If they keep doing that, your guy, the center for Aiden, is not going to have to play no defense, right? That's what's going to happen. But if you give him the ball and make Aiden have to play him, you might get Aiden in foul trouble early, but they probably won't. They're going to keep doing these things like, hey, when Antetokounmpo's in the game, like he has the ball, and we put Lopez way out there on the three-point line. Instead of saying, Antetokounmpo, you got the ball at the top, but before you go to the hole, let's see if we can get it down to Brook Lopez first. And if he can't, then he can go out there, all right, to the three-point line, fake like he's going through the three-point line, and when Antetokounmpo goes to the hole, he can follow him to the hole, so Antetokounmpo can drop it off, right? Or they can play pick and roll, those two could play pick and roll and go towards the basket, both of them. How are you going to defend that? But you're not going to have a Brook Lopez stand at the three-point line. But hey, even though they're playing wrong, they're in the finals. So that's just me talking. I'm telling you that's a problem. Brook Lopez can make sure that they can win the series against Phoenix. If they keep playing like this, they won't. And that's sad, because I would like to see Antetokounmpo get his, so he can have this I'm the best player in the league title going for him, or at least be in that discussion, right? And you're also, as far as Phoenix is concerned, CP3, you wish him well, even though he cheats a lot, but you wish him well, right? He was a Clipper for a while. You wish this guy well too. So the finals are going to be good. But we're not here to talk about that either. We're here to talk about Scottie Pippen, the legend Scottie Pippen, one of the top 50 players in the history of the game. Scottie Pippen has come out with some comments. He's got a book coming out. He's, touring, and people are asking questions. He's telling people things in the book, and he said some things that people don't like. Like he was asked, about a play that was drawn up towards the end of the season when Michael Jordan wasn't there. He was upset that the play was called for Kukoc and he didn't go into the game. They highlighted that in that documentary, The Last Dance, about Michael Jordan. And what I'm trying to say about The Last Dance, it was the last dance for Michael Jordan, but it's the last straw for Scottie Pippen. This is his time to come out and say, what's up. So he's wrote a book, and I'm pretty sure The Last Dance had a lot to do with it, from his perspective. Scottie Pippen is big enough, awesome enough, to where his perspective needs to be taken heed to. He needs to be heard, right? I've seen Scottie Pippen over the years say nothing but positive things about Jordan, never taking the credit, saying Jordan is the GOAT, above LeBron and everyone else. So he's been a good Robin to his Batman, even after his career, right? I've seen him through the whole time. But I just think, the jig is up. I think he's finished with that. It's some things that happened in the Last Dance that he probably didn't like. I don't know exactly what they are, but he came out and said that he wouldn't care if someone thought that Phil Jackson was a racist because he figured that move that he did by giving the ball to Kukoc and not him was a racist move, right? But he said that, and then the person asked him, "Well, do you think Phil Jackson's a racist or whatever? What you're saying is Phil Jackson's a racist." He said, "Well, I don't have a problem with that, right?" And so he's not really saying he's a racist, but he don't have a problem with it, right? So that's saying basically everybody's like, "Well, Phil Jackson can't be a racist," and things like that, right? And they say, "Well, how could you say just because he called to play for Kukoc, who's a better shooter than you, that he's a racist?" And they know damn well that Scottie Pippen is not saying because of that incident that Phil Jackson is a racist. But you can run with those narratives. I've seen him do it in boxing. Somebody asked our heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder what you think was wrong with you because you were so tired and funny in that fight against Tyson Fury, the second fight. And Wilder started looking for reasons. It was right after the fight. He said it could have been that heavy ass suit, among other things. But that heavy suit, everybody ran with that and didn't think about anything else. They just ran with that. And here, they know damn well he just said, "Well, I don't have a problem with that," right? And now he's calling him a racist, and he's crazy. Just like Deontay Wilder was crazy for even saying something about his suit. Now, this guy didn't say that. But here we are in the climate that we're in right now, right? People attacking the government, 75 million people, right? Voting for obvious racists. All kinds of things that are going on in society right now. All these things. Running around with Confederate flags, right? People in basketball, the coach of the Clippers, the owner of the Clippers, Don Sterling, right? The NFL owners, most of them are racist, right? Colin Kaepernick can't get a job in the NFL. We got all this stuff going on. And we have people still acting like that if Scottie Pippen says something like this, that he's nuts. They won't even entertain the fact that, Phil Jackson, much as we love him, or the people who like the Bulls, like he can't be. And all these other people are right around you, and 75 million are right around you. You have your whole group of Republican lawmakers. I don't want to call them senators. Get it so it really got a little oomph to it when you remember. Lawmakers that don't want to have a commission to look into what happened to January the 6th, one of the worst terrorist acts we've seen. Right? Don't even want to look into it. Only 2 of them. And they're going to expel those 2 of them that went against that. Just once to be investigated why that happened. All of your lawmakers don't want that. And we're going to still sit here and act like Scottie Pippen, and he says I hang around him all the time, and I don't have a problem with someone calling him racist. We are past the point of where we assume that someone's not racist. Okay? What do you have to hit? You have to get hit with a brick on your head, or someone do something to your direct family before you realize, right? We can assume now that the person is racist. And if they're not, then that's great news. So there's not a problem with assuming that Phil Jackson too. It's a possibility if Scottie Pippen is not saying something about his comments. And then you hear, well, he might have been drinking. He has that drink next to him all the time. If he was drinking, it's even worse. Because people who's drinking are telling the truth, right? We know drunk people tell the truth, don't we? So if he was drinking and saying this, then it's probably more true than it was if he was sober. So there's no way around. If Scottie Pippen is telling you that, I don't have a problem with this, if you think he's racist, I don't have a problem with that. That's telling you that, hey, something might have been going on, right? He doesn't want to, throw the boy under the bus. But if everybody's going to act like his comments, right, are wrong, then whatever. Let's make sure this is clear. Scottie Pippen is one of the top 50 players, right? I even call some of my, most athletes that are, robbing and don't get, appreciated like they should. I call that Scottie Pippen syndrome for 20 years because I think Scottie Pippen should have been more vocal than he is. That's why I'm glad he's doing this. I'm going to buy the book to support it because he has just been sitting around for 20 years listening to nothing Jordan. Like Jordan won things without him. Right? Jordan didn't win nothing. About 8 years without winning before Scottie Pippen came. Then the winning started. Jordan won every one of those 6 titles with Scottie Pippen. The Olympic titles with Scottie Pippen. Nothing was won without Scottie Pippen. They say Scottie Pippen's the top 50 player in the world, throughout history. Yeah, he's pretty high. I got him higher than that, top 30, right? If we were looking at the NBA today, there's not a player equivalent of Scottie Pippen right now. In terms of his defensive prowess, his bringing the ball up, facilitating. When I say defensive prowess, steals, on-man defense, pass lane defense, weak side shot blocking, on the man shot blocking. There's nothing on the defense that the man couldn't do. There is nothing. I can stick really, literally from 1 through 5. The closest thing we got in today's game would be Ben Simmons, but Scottie Pippen's offense is better than Ben Simmons. Second closest would be probably LeBron James himself, right? But his defense is better than LeBron James. It's better than LeBron James, and by a little bit, okay? Farther, right? Scottie Pippen would be, if I was picking a team to start with, yeah, my first 3 of all time on the 3 position would be LeBron James. But my second would be Scottie Pippen. And I know Larry Bird is there, right? I know Larry Bird is there. But the problem is on my team, here's the rest of the team. I start the team with Hakeem Olajuwon. That's what the team starts with. Then I got Dirk Nowitzki on my 4 because he's going to stretch. So I don't need Larry Bird. Then you can have LeBron. I got Scottie Pippen. Then I got Kobe and Steph Curry, right? I'm winning, period. And if I can't have Steph Curry, then I'll take Magic. But if I got Steph Curry, Kobe Bryant, Scottie Pippen, Dirk Nowitzki, and Hakeem Olajuwon, and I'm beating anybody. Throughout all the here, those are not the people that everybody else gonna pick. But I wouldn't care. Scottie Pippen is a top player, and he's been treated unfairly. We've watched all these things go on for years, but Scottie Pippen has done it. He was really very important. He took the team when Jordan was out all the way to the conference finals. He was up for MVP. I think he was second or third in the voting that year, right? And he was, this guy. I don't know if Michael Jordan would have took them to the conference finals without Scottie Pippen. I'm not sure about that. That's how versatile Scottie Pippen is. He's really one of the very, very best. And because he played with Jordan, he wasn't. People think that Jordan taught him everything he knows. Well, shoot, I don't think Jordan had Scottie Pippen by himself teaching him. Like, you don't think he was trying to teach Craig Hodges and B.J. Armstrong, Steve Kerr and Paxson and Horace Grant and Harper and all them other people? You wasn't trying to teach them stuff? Yeah, you could teach people all you want. Everybody can't execute, right? And that's what, or doesn't have the talent to do the things that he's being taught, right? If Jordan taught him everything, Jordan wasn't just teaching him. Right? And that's not what happened either. But I mean, Jordan probably, they was going at it, and Jordan helped him. But I'm sure Jordan was helped a whole lot of people. Just this guy is special, and he should have Scottie Pippen syndrome, right? Most of my favorite athletes should have it. Like Hakeem Olajuwon is my favorite player of all time. That's who I start my team with. If I go to tennis, it's Monica Seles. We saw what happened to her. Right? Or boxing, Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis I consider the GOAT in boxing, but he's not considered that. No one considers that. They act like they didn't really see what happened, right? They talk about Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson and stuff before Lennox Lewis. No, he was the best in that era. He was the best. And he was the best in any era. Ain't nobody gonna really beat Lennox Lewis 2 out of 3 times. No, they're not. They're just not. But we can say these names, but he doesn't get the respect he deserves. Monica Seles. Steffi Graf was like Mike Tyson playing tennis. Little old Monica Seles came and started beating her for the first time. Then the other one started beating her. Girl gets stabbed in Germany, where Steffi Graf comes from. The guy says, I did it because Steffi Graf ain't #1 no more. I need to get her out of the way. That's exactly what happened. They even voted to not even freeze Monica Seles. The top 10 players at the time, women players, voted to not freeze Monica Seles' points at the time. I'm still mad about that. Monica Seles, I'll never forget her. Monica, we won't forget you because women's tennis ain't without you. But whatever. Bottom line is, and Hakeem Olajuwon. We mentioned all these people, the best player ever, and the best centers ever, and all kind of names come before Hakeem Olajuwon. No, Hakeem Olajuwon is the best center ever, one of the best players. I pick my team first with him. Then we can start picking other people, because he's going to dominate his position. No doubt about it. You ain't sticking him, and he's sticking you. And I know what I saw. I lead all blocks. I lead all centers. I got the most blocks in history. I lead all centers in steals because I steal the ball too. You can't stop me on the low block. I got all the moves on the low block. And if you taller than me, then I can face up, reverse pivot, face up, and I got crossovers. I was shooting jump shots way back in the day, and if it was in this era, I'd dog you too. So Scottie Pippen's of that cloth, totally underappreciated. And his book is out to tell what's going on, what's the truth about what was going on. So I don't think when he comes out and says Phil Jackson could have been racist, I don't think we should be assuming that Phil Jackson's not. That they don't deserve anymore. What you've been seeing this happen in front of your eyes, especially over the last few years, right? People are running around with Confederate flags. We got 8 military bases named after them, and they don't want to change them, which means if we could have you as slaves, we would. Just like the lady from Mississippi said, right? She said, if I could have public lynchings, I would be in the front row. A day later, Trump came to visit her to basically high-five her, not to reprimand her, right? You see all these things happen, and you're still sitting here acting like Scottie Pippen is the crazy one here, just like Deontay Wilder was. The one who cheats all the time, Tyson Fury, no one wants to investigate him or do anything. No one wants to investigate January the 6th or do anything. Now, do they? It's the same thing. So this guy here, Scottie Pippen, who's been around this guy all this time, is okay if someone considers Phil Jackson a racist. So I'm assuming with Scottie Pippen that Phil Jackson's a racist until proven otherwise. Because it doesn't matter where you are, that you got a tie on or you don't. On January 6th, most policemen didn't go to work that day. They took off so they can be a part of the insurrection, right? Your Pentagon didn't send the troops that right down the street, the National Guard, to help. The Capitol Police that really do that told people to concentrate not on the Trump supporters, but on the ones that are not Trump supporters. So they got red carpet treatment. So stop acting like you're not seeing all of that. All of that plays into this. So Phil Jackson could be racist. I would be surprised if he wasn't. Put it like that. Right? So let's just see what happens and see what's going on. Because these pundits that come out and they talk, and even the ones of color, right, that are caged and can't say what they really think, right? Call in sick on them days when they're going to bash Scottie Pippen. Don't go. Just like the guys for the insurrection, the policemen that took off so they can be a part of the insurrection, then if you got to bash Scottie Pippen before knowing all the details, then don't go to work on that day. You sick. Right? Because Scottie Pippen deserves more credit than that. Let's find out what he's talking about first, instead of labeling him something that somebody's good for somebody else's ears. That's not what you think at home. Say what you say at home on TV. That's what has to happen here. So we'll see what happens with Scottie Pippen. I don't know one way or another, but I know one thing I'm not going to do. I'm not going to assume that Scottie Pippen has lost his mind for nobody, because he's probably hasn't. Dome Sports Talk, worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.